This episode of Not Too Deep is brought to you by our good buddies over at Squarespace. The future is coming. Make it brighter with Squarespace. Guess what? Squarespace makes it easy to turn your idea into a unique website. You can showcase your work, you could blog or publish content, even sell products and services of all kind in just a few clicks. Customize everything from look and feel to settings and products using their beautiful templates created by world-class designers. And there's nothing to install, patch, or upgrade ever. So go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE, GRACE, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Ready to rock and roll! That was,
Woo! I like that.
thank you. That was my impression of every hair band in the 80s.
Which is what I listen to when I work out.
Really?
I-
Yeah.
That's my go-to.
What's your number one
jams.
workout song right now?
Pour some
That's my
sugar
karaoke.
on me.
That's my karaoke song.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's really good, but
It
it's
really
also,
does pump me up. It's crazy how it works.
But the reality is that song is about a man coming on a woman.
Man, I don't want to know that.
Shake it up, and the bottle explodes. So
Fuck.
Happy New Year, Jack Fieri.
Happy New Year, Grace Helbig.
We are back.
We are back.
with another season, quote unquote, of Not Too Deep.
That's right.
It's very exciting.
It is very exciting.
And
yes.
we are, like everyone is doing right now, kind of growing, changing, evolving, trying to
Mhm.
be the best versions of ourselves. And with that, the podcast, just to give you guys a heads up, don't get scared, is changing a little bit.
Yeah, we're trying a new format.
But really, we're going back to our roots.
Basically, yes. So what we've been listening to you guys, and so Grace and I like to do these little catch-ups at the beginning of the show, and we will still
Mhm.
continue to do those.
But
they'll-
we're going in hard on our guests.
We're going hard on our guests. Yeah,
Which
the show
sounds,
is.
that's not, I mean, with consent. With consent?
Yes, we're not going to be pouring sugar on anybody. Okay.
No.
Uh,
We're going back to the roots of Not Too Deep, which is dumb, fun conversations with really interesting, cool, fun people.
yes, because we're no longer filming these, we have so much more flexibility and freedom to just talk about fun and dumb things. So there won't be any more visual segments, obviously, because we have the freedom now that we don't have to do that. And so because of that, you guys are lucky because the show is actually going to get a little bit longer every week so that we can speak with our guests a little bit longer. We've been very grateful to have the guests
We've
that
already recorded a bunch of episodes,
We
just
have.
FYI. This is
Yes.
in hindsight that we were recording the intro to this first episode, and the guests have been absolutely fantastic already, and the
Yeah.
conversations have been really fun. So we're just getting into this stride of really, I think, I genuinely, and we'll say this without irony or without sarcasm, am loving Not Too Deep again.
Me too.
There was a
Me
moment
too.
in time where it felt a little forced. I'm sure you guys kind of maybe felt that from listening or watching wherever you were consuming the content. And right now, it feels like what we started with. It feels
Yeah, I
like a
agree.
fun, real, sometimes like more serious than we're used to conversations with people that are, to me, so much more fulfilling and interesting than it has been. So I'm excited because I have genuine excitement for this podcast again.
I agree. I feel like we're no longer trying to please audiences on two separate platforms anymore.
Right.
We are now being a pure podcast again, and that feels really great. And I hope you guys feel the same way. We are super excited about this season. I hope you guys are too.
Right.
And we're also expanding our horizons with the kinds of guests, which you guys will see in the coming weeks.
Yes.
We're going to get all kinds of new, different types of people, and I think you guys are going to be very excited
And
when you
with
see
that too, please do not hesitate to tweet at Jack and I or message us in whatever social media way possible of people that you want to hear on the podcast, because we have a long list of really awesome people that we want to try and get on. But if there's anyone that you're thinking of specifically, let us know, because we are open to talking about anyone. And I'm specifically asking you to tweet at Shaq and get him on the
Yes,
podcast.
please. That's really a long way of saying, Shaq, please come be on Not Too Deep.
Yep. I mean, just gotta stay true to the brand. One thing that we really wanted to initiate with this new quote unquote season of Not Too Deep is spreading a little positivity.
That's right.
There's a lot of shit happening,
That's
to
right.
say the least. And so we wanted to create a segment at the beginning of the podcast, every episode, that's what we're calling We're Rooting for You.
That's right. We're rooting for you.
It's basically a segment where Jack and I present to each other either people or things or moments or events, etc., that are something we're rooting for, something that's either joyous, something that either like needs help, or something that had great intentions. And we just kind of go through and feel some sort of like pride and support for this thing, person, whatever it is that we're rooting for this week.
That's right.
Jack, do you have someone
I
or
do,
something?
but I would like to go second, if
Okay.
that's okay.
Okay, then I'll go first because this is really a new joy to my life.
Great.
And I'm rooting for it because I don't want it to ever stop. And you out there probably know about this because it's already very popular and doesn't need my support, really. It's called WeRateDogs. It's a Twitter account.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, it's at dogs_rates. It has 5.2 million followers, so I don't necessarily need to be plugging this for any reason for them to grow.
Sure.
Other than you should have this in your life because it is a wonderful Twitter feed
Yes.
that brings pure joy to the world in the form of positively rating dogs.
That's right.
For instance, it shows photos of dogs in almost every tweet and gives a little
On a scale of 1 to 10, it gives them a rating.
and no one gets below an 11.
That's correct.
Which is already fantastic.
That's right.
For instance, here's the most recent one as of us recording this podcast today. It's this white fluffy dog that's in the photo, and it says, "This is Douglas. He occasionally bursts into song. A cappella, if you will. 13 out of 10 would support his dreams."
Yes.
And they make terrible and wonderful pup puns in almost all of their tweets.
That's right.
And it's just an amazing, if you want just some separation from the demons of the rest of the world, give yourself the pure joy of WeRateDogs Twitter feed. It's fantastic. I think they're nominated for a Shorty Award.
I think they are as well.
Or
it's a Shorty, yeah.
A Shorty Award. So it's an award-nominated Twitter feed.
It is. And it's funny that you mentioned WeRateDogs because they stepped in it a little bit last year. I don't know if you know this, but they got on a tweet or two. I don't remember exactly the details. Yeah, they got
They said, "Do you know what a dog is?"
They got a little political, and then they got a lot of hate back. And then what was interesting about it was the creator of the account realized, he was like, you know what? I made a mistake. I stepped out of my lane. Shouldn't have done it.
But all he did was Donald Trump talks about Steve Bannon getting dropped like a dog, like fired like a dog, and that he cried. Afterwards, he tweeted about that. Because I went back to try and look that up from their Twitter account, didn't find it.
Because he deleted it. Because he realized, that's not why people follow this account. And
sure, a little personal vendetta got in there.
Yeah, and I think that that's cool that, like, it's a great account. And I think we in 2018, we need to be willing to accept that there's going to be occasions where people make a little misstep, and I think it's.
I thought it was great. This is how I first learned about WeRateDogs, is because
of the
retweeted the president, and all he said was, "Do you ... Do you know what a dog is?"
Right.
Question mark, because he used the phrase "dog," like you got fired like a dog, which is
you don't fire dogs.
You don't. You can't. They can't hold jobs.
Right.
So it was, unless they're a service dog, which God bless, thank you for your service. But we
support our dog troops.
But that's the first way that I saw them. And I was like, this is pretty perfect, in my opinion. But I fully understand that they're like, this is just supposed to be pure joy. We'll step back from our political point of view and allow this to be the distraction that everyone deserves.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really great because left or right, wherever you fall on the political spectrum, we can all enjoy this account because dogs are wonderful.
Yes.
So along those same lines.
So we're rooting for you, WeRateDogs. Who are you rooting for, Jack?
We are rooting for you, WeRateDogs. I don't know if I want to give this particular person a shout out because I don't want to say their particular name, but I do want to say a little something that's very similar to this because one of my resolutions this year was that, I don't want to deal with negative comments and things like that that I get sometimes, that I sometimes have to deal with. Now, obviously, I'm not like a celebrity or whatever, but I do occasionally get some things that kind of bug me.
Sure.
And this was the first year that I was like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And I'm just going to start saying like, don't be mean. Don't be a jerk. That's rude. And so somebody left a very negative comment on one of my posts basically saying, your midlife crisis looks good on you. And I was very offended by that because I was like, I'm not in my midlife. I'm certainly not having a midlife crisis. That's very presumptuous. And so I said, my response to him was, I'm in my 30s, fuck you very much. And then I posted it to my Instagram story with that comment saying, new resolution for 2018, not putting up with any more shit. Just I needed to vent. And then immediately after posting it, I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But what was interesting was I got a lot of positive responses from people saying like, good for you. People need to realize that there are people behind these accounts. And that was the message that I said. And then what happened immediately, like about an hour later, was he realized he had made a bad joke and he immediately apologized. And I publicly accepted his apology. And I said, look, man, no hard feelings. I accept your apology. It was a misstep. I don't take it personally. We're totally cool. I didn't block him. He didn't block me. And it was one of those things that could have escalated and gotten really shitty. And it didn't. He was cool and he apologized and I accepted his apology. And I felt like that's the real lesson here is, someone made a misstep and I said having a conversation as opposed to saying this is black and white, you are a bad person, and he was saying no, you are.
And that's a lot of what negative comments come from, as someone that thinks of you as like a spam bot account, that you're not a real human, that you don't see what they're saying, that they're not acknowledged by you, and so they say something that is so just you would never ever say out loud to a person face to face.
Yes.
And then when they get the attention, there is immediate withdrawal of, oh my God, I didn't really mean that. I'm so sorry, because they realize that you're a real person, and acknowledging that on both sides and being able to understand, like, I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. We can agree that this was a misstep in
and I will acknowledge, like, that's a sore subject for me. I don't like, because I've got prematurely graying hair. I feel like I do look older than I am. People say like
but that's very trendy right now. People are dying. I dyed my hair gray last year.
I mean, I
went
think
through it, 2017.
I think
weird
that's
year.
cool. But for me, that is something that we all have our insecurities. Like Eliza talks about this on the live podcast. How she's insecure about her thighs, and so you wouldn't make a comment about her body shape to her because that would be very rude. And so for me, like, people be like, "Wow, you look like you could be Neil Patrick Harris's older brother," and I'm like, "Dude, he's like 10 years older than me."
Right.
Like, I wish people would stop saying I'm old. I'm like, I'm younger than Chris Hardwick. No one says he's old.
Right.
And so it was, I admit, it's a sore,
triggers you.
It's a sore subject for me. And so it was probably more revealing about me than anything else. But I will admit that that's something that, and we should be sensitive to that. Don't make fun of people's weight. Don't make fun of people's age. Don't make fun of people's appearance. Like, oh, you're ugly. Or you're bald. Like, it would be rude if you said that in public.
Yeah, it's intention. Intentions behind jokes are so much more important than what the joke is actually saying.
And I think he was trying to be familiar, but I had to remind him. I was like, look, man, we don't actually know each other.
Right.
That's the kind of joke that if Grace made it, it would be funny because we're such good friends.
Right.
But because we don't know each other. And so
it's the same like when people say you're trying too hard to me, that I'm like, I'm trying to be funny. But when people take it as I'm trying too hard, I get really sensitive to jokes like that.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, that's a bummer that they see me that way. But I think the best part of this is the fact that you guys were able to have this kind of dialogue.
Yes. And then I screenshotted that and then posted that immediately afterwards, and I was like, "Oh, cool."
Well, that's great.
And so I wanted to say to you, sir, I really appreciated being the bigger man and apologizing to me, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to have the dialogue, because that was really cool. And Sarah Silverman had a very interesting interaction on Twitter recently with a troll, and it ended up being very positive. And I was like, maybe we can start opening up the dialogue online and making things less black and white. And so, anyway, so to this person on Instagram, like I said, I don't want to shout him out because I don't want anyone to like go over there and like flame the guy. But I want to say I am rooting for you, sir, and everybody else out there who is in the same.
Safe to say you're rooting for open, healthy, respectful conversation this year.
That's exactly right.
Well, with that, we're going to throw that all into the garbage because we have Brooks Wheelan on the podcast, and he is the antithesis of respectful, healthy conversation. No, he is absolutely fantastic. He's
so unbelievably funny. I was laughing like a dumb idiot the entire interview.
He's a fucking amazing stand-up comedian that I am literally, this is my open letter to Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, any fucking streaming service, that if you do not have him do a half hour or an hour of stand-up comedy, you are missing out on really, truly great classic stand-up comedy. He's so good. And he lent his dumb ass brain to us for an hour, and we talked about dumb, fun things. And it's
Yes.
just the tip of the iceberg. He also, you'll hear he has a podcast called Entry Level, where he interviews a bunch of fun creative types about all the jobs that they've had leading up to the job that they currently have in the creative world. And it's really, you can hear more of him there. But this is a really, really fun episode. So I hope, even bear in mind, healthy, respectful conversation. And I hope that you enjoy this episode of Not Too Deep.
Not too deep. With Grace Helbig.
This week's episode of Not Too Deep is sponsored by my favorite bra brand. It's ThirdLove. Oh, guys, I've talked about them before, and I'm going to continue talking about them because they're just so fantastic. When it comes to bra shopping, it's all about finding the right fit for you, and there's only one lingerie brand that offers bras in sizes AA through G, and that is ThirdLove. They use thousands of real women's measurements and super smoothing memory foam to create bras that fit and feel great. Most old school bra brands carry like 15 sizes of bras. ThirdLove offers 60 sizes, including half cups, which no one else does. They recognize that there's a perfect bra for everyone. So right now they're offering all of you guys, my beautiful, wonderful listeners, 15% off your first order. That's 15% off your first order. To find the bra you've been waiting for, all you have to do is answer a few simple questions from their Fit Finder quiz. It takes 60 seconds, and you can do it from home. There's no like awkward fitting room experience that you have to go through. So please, I highly recommend, as a girl that lives her life in a sports bra, they're the only ones that have got me out of my comfort zone and made me still feel comfortable. Try a ThirdLove bra. It's so comfortable that you honestly forget that you're wearing it. If you don't agree, returns and exchanges are easy and free. So this year, make the change that will change the way you think about bras. Go to thirdlove.com/grace now to find that perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first order. That's thirdlove.com/grace, thirdlove.com/grace. Okay, I had this actual conversation yesterday in a meeting, and I would be excited to hear your thoughts on this.
Meeting.
It's me talking to myself in the mirror yesterday.
Okay, yeah.
That was my
You
business
and
meeting.
Goose in a corner going,
Yeah.
everything's okay.
It was her screaming at the Amazon delivery man and me yelling at her.
Protecting you.
Yeah, and so that was the meeting. It lasted for 3 hours. It was great. The first thing or one of the first things that like jarred me when I first moved here is how many donut shops there are in Los Angeles and how they're all open constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And they're
There
all
are.
empty seemingly constantly.
Was this what you're going to say about the meeting? Or because I feel bad that I cut you off.
No, this is what this is what I talked about in this meeting yesterday. That's how good the meeting went yesterday, that we got to the point that I brought up that there's the amount of donut shops in Los Angeles makes me confused.
You started doing a Seinfeld bit. There's no one in them.
What's the deal with these donut shops?
Yeah. Yum, more like front.
I passed one called Miss Donuts on the way to the meeting, and that's what made me think about it. And I was like, this is bizarre to me because, that's why this came up, because the woman I was meeting with told me about how she went in Culver City, right around here where we are currently podcasting.
Sure.
That she was like, there's not many things in life as like an entertainment person that like surprised me on a daily basis in Los Angeles. But the other day I was driving through Culver City and I saw this bookshop called the Ripped Bodice. And she went in, Mel knows what it is. She went in and because she wanted just a place to sit with her laptop and write. And it was owned by two sisters. They're in their 20s. It's an romance novel only bookstore, 2 stories.
Wow.
In Culver City. And it's just 2 young women that are sisters that own this bookshop. And they're like, yeah, you can come in and write. She's like, I was the only person there. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had. How did they stay in business? Yada, yada. And that's what led me to how did the donut shops stay in business?
No, it should be called Parents' Money.
That was the end of the conversation was like, there's a dad behind all of this.
Yeah,
it's giving
he's
them
just
some
like,
finances.
they go somewhere.
But no, they actually had a Kickstarter and they raised $92,000
Whoa.
for this
bookshop.
Yeah. They're from Chicago. They're not even natives of LA.
Whoa.
They came out here to
So they didn't even
this.
know what neighborhood would be good because that would be much more successful in like North Hollywood, I think.
I mean, they're thriving apparently.
Yeah.
On that note, Brooks Wheelan is here. Yay.
Yay. We made it.
Hi, Brooks.
We did it. Hey, Jack, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to have you.
Thanks for having me.
I don't request anything of guests normally, but the only thing I will request of you, because you've shown me all of your public appearances on syndicated television, like news, when you go and do stuff on the road.
I think it's very funny, and you would say, "Don't do this to people."
When Brooks goes on the road, he's a fabulous stand-up comedian. He has to do like morning talk show TV
to get people to come to the show.
TV appearances, yeah. And
so
I
Brooks
tank them on purpose.
Yeah, Brooks loves to pick a bit that's terrible and just commit to it for the entire duration of his segment on the show, making the host the most uncomfortable I've ever seen humans. And then he shows me the videos of him doing these bits, making these people uncomfortable, and it makes me uncomfortable.
You uncomfortable, yeah.
Well,
you hate that stuff.
I do it only because I don't think anybody watches morning TV. And it's only on.
No one that's going to come to your stand-up show that night is watching that morning television show.
That's what I mean. It's just on. It's people getting their kids ready for school, and it's just on. So these are not people that are going to come to my show.
Mm-hmm.
I do the weirdest thing possible in the hopes to catch some stoner kid that's flipping through channels
that hasn't fallen asleep yet.
Yeah, and he's like, "Is this guy yelling about bath salts on TV, like at 6 a.m. news?"
The one you showed me, the first one you showed me that I was like, please turn this off, was
where I took the painting down and tried to sell it.
Not that. I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh yeah, I spent 5 minutes trying to sell a bird painting that I ripped off their wall.
Oh well. This is the best of Brooks then, because the one you showed me was you promoting some band.
Florida Georgia Line.
Yep.
Which I wouldn't talk about comedy. I just said I was there to promote Florida Georgia Line's new album.
These two seemingly sweet hosts are trying so desperately to talk to you about your stand-up show, and you just kept going, Florida Georgia Line, buy your tickets now.
Yeah, no, and honestly, it worked. Like, that's the same one I kept saying I was on bath salts on. People bring bath salts to shows now, not the drug, but the real bath salts.
Like from Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, and they're like, we brought you bath salts. And like, we also like, how's Florida Georgia Line doing? It like gets people to shows.
Yeah, make merch.
No, I would only ever do that on morning television shows because I don't think anybody watches them. It's like an exercise. And then I end it by being like, if you came to the show from seeing this, I'll give you $5. Just, it's a test. And I think I've literally never given anyone any money.
Oh, I was going to say, so you're just losing money.
No, I mean tonight it has to be, you have to come
that
from
night.
Seeing this, not on the internet, but live.
That's great.
Yeah.
So is it uncomfortable after the segment ends with you?
I've been escorted out a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, Brooks has this thing, this like DNA strand in him that I cannot relate to on any level, where he just doesn't feel embarrassment about anything.
Never.
And
very Andy Kaufman of you.
No, he's better at it than me.
But I mean, if you do feel embarrassment, you bury it deep down and it doesn't show.
I just drink it away.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm never embarrassed. Like the worst one that I can't get, they wouldn't give it to me. Was in my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I wasn't even doing a show. My mom just thought that the news would want to interview me.
Wait, what?
Yeah, my mom called.
Where's your hometown?
This is in Waterloo, Iowa.
Okay.
And
wait, so your mom momagered you?
Well, yes, she did. She was like, "Look, I was in town for like Thanksgiving or something, or one of my friends' weddings. I wasn't doing shows. I wasn't there to promote anything." She was just like, "They would love to have you on the noon news."
Wait, that's what they called it.
I don't
This sounds so fake. Wait, how did your mom just called and said, "My son's a stand-up comic. He would be great for your show."
This is like when I was on SNL, so I was on TV and. And so she's like, "If you don't mind, they would love to have you." And I was like, this seems
so
weird.
She Kris Jennered you into this.
Right. So, but then my mom came with me to the studio with my nephew, Landon, who at the time was like 1.5, maybe 2.
So this is when his first memories are forming as a child.
Yeah. And I said, "Can I bring," and he's being real cute and cuddly, and I'm holding him, and I go, "Can I bring Landon on the show, on the interview with me?"
Oh boy.
And they said, "Of course, this is cute as heck." And then as soon as the cameras rolled, I wouldn't answer any questions unless my agent Damone allowed it, which is what I was calling my nephew. And he kept screaming, crying, and I was yelling, "This is why my career's doing terrible, Damone." And they cut to commercial.
Great.
And my mom was devastated.
That's great. And also, Landon now grows up as an adult with that as his first memory.
Well, it was the only place it exists is on my brother's DVR because he DVR'd it.
Perfect.
He thought it was hilarious.
Sure.
And then Landon's older brother didn't get to go because he was at school. So he was so jealous.
Great. So you've caused a family rift in these brothers that will last a lifetime. They'll never get over it because this is your first memories are what form you as an adult.
Yeah.
So are you and your mom estranged?
No, she was just like, I thought it was funny. She was like on my side,
Oh, that's good.
But also, your mom likes every Instagram post I post. So
that's true.
Oh, that's sweet.
She's just a very supportive person.
She's very, very sweet.
I like that.
But I asked my brother like maybe 6 months ago, I was like, is that still on your DVR? And he goes, no, it's all Paw Patrol now because his kids got into Paw Patrol.
Wait, so
It got erased.
It got erased because it's nothing but Paw Patrol on his DVR.
and that was it's got to exist somewhere.
They wouldn't give it to, I was like, can I have that? That was funny. And they were like, you have to go.
Okay, so what's the actual network?
It was KWWL.
It wasn't New News?
An affiliate
No,
of,
it's KWWL Channel 7. And
like
it was
an affiliate of NBC.
NBC. And
Okay, so if anyone out there has any access to this clip
we want
on
it.
KWWL, please tweet at us, please message us and let us know.
The other weird thing is then I went on Seth Meyers' TV show to promote my stand-up album, and he's real nice, and he puts a different NBC affiliate mug on his desk each time. And when I was on
he
Seth
put that
Meyers,
one?
he didn't know, but it was the KWWL Waterloo, Iowa one, and I was like, I've been kicked off that channel.
Really? You don't think he knew?
Well, I don't
That
because
seems
I didn't.
too coincidental.
Well, I didn't even think of it till afterwards.
Yeah,
because I didn't say it on the air. But it's me with the Iowa channel, so maybe it was.
I think that's too coincidental for that to be a happy accident.
Okay,
I feel like he has researchers.
Or a producer. I doubt Seth was like, "Where's each guest from?
He's
Let's
just
put
like,
their local affiliate."
Right, or just like that mug. Fine.
Also,
great.
I was like the deep third guest. There were many better guests before. So,
talking about deep thirds, you worked at Papa John's.
yeah. I mean, who hasn't, honestly, for a minute?
None of us in this room, not a single person
No
other than
one-
you, has
Grace and I have both worked at Applebee's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Almost the same Applebee's because we're from the same hometown.
Right. And we talk about this a lot. Segue to on Brooks's podcast. Brooks has a new podcast, FYI.
Yeah, it's called Entry Level. Grace was on it.
It's all about like
Bad
jobs
jobs.
not bad jobs, just jobs that you've had leading up to the job that you want.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's all about
This sounds fun.
the first jobs you
I
have.
just gave you a much better log line than you've ever created for your podcast, by the way.
That's absolutely true. It's great. Yeah, it's the jobs that led to you becoming, the comedian or musician.
Which you
or
should
actor.
have Jack on because Jack has this weird, mysterious history of being in the news for years, like 9
really?
years.
Yeah.
Jack worked in your interviews when you subtly drop them every now and then. You're like, yeah, Giuliani or whoever that.
Yeah, I have a pretty crazy Rudy Giuliani story.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, come on.
I would love to do your podcast.
we'll
it sounds like
discuss.
a great
Yeah,
podcast.
he's got a mirror of Applebee's and Rudy Giuliani. So
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, Grace was on. You've had the most. I would call them
chain restaurant queen.
you the queen of the suburbs. You've had every suburban job possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like an appetizer smorgasbord. I just picked from all of them.
Yeah, you went to a strip mall and worked your way down.
Yeah.
TJ Maxx, Applebee's, Chili's.
I just
back to Applebee's, Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, I broke my soul until I needed to do comedy to get therapy and get it out of me. But you're in line with that because you worked at Papa John's and you have, this is all knowledge that I'm privy to, but I think is so funny that you weren't there the day that Papa John,
Papa John,
came
showed
into
up.
your actual
This
establishment.
is in Dubuque, Iowa. I was 16. I'd quit working at the cave I was a tour guide at to follow my dreams down the pizza restaurant.
Which isn't a euphemism. The cave that you are a tour guide at is an actual job that
Crystal
he
Lake
had.
Cave, nature's masterpiece in Dubuque, Iowa. It's fantastic. Actually, no, it's the worst. I wish them nothing but harm.
You've only on your podcast has been just one line shitting
attacking. I attack the cave.
Yeah, your podcast is just propaganda against this cave.
Yeah, but people have emailed being like, we went to it because you talk about it so much, and you're not wrong. And they've upped the prices because it used to be $9 to.
It's just a tourist trap in Iowa.
It's a tourist trap,
Right.
and as the tour guide of a tourist trap, you're the person that has to be like, you got tricked. This cave sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're the publicist for this
And I have to be like, it's like a half hour of like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Why are you here?
And you're a teenager and you're not making any more money either way.
Oh.
No, it was $5.15 an hour. I would put a $1 bill in my hand after the tour was.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
To ask for tips.
After the tour, I would stand up front with a $1 bill in my hand
sort of seed
to solicit tips.
And like they're with you. I can't imagine that they don't see
That's
you
so funny.
reaching for the $1 bill,
It's a
putting
tight
it
cave.
in your.
It's a small tunnel.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
They know that there's only 3 other people on the tour with them.
Yeah.
Not a single person has put that $1 in your hand. So they're all privy to the knowledge that you have placed this there.
Oh, and it's also when I'm like fully aware I want to be a stand-up comedian. So during the tours, I'll be like, I heard this joke on Comedy Central the other day. And then I will do one of my jokes I've written.
That's like when you see
That's
those.
so funny.
No, they were like, oh, how did that make it on TV? I'm like, I know, it stinks.
But that's also like those videos that you see of the flight attendants that do their own spiel for
for
the
Southwest.
safety videos.
Yeah.
And it's pretty great. But I'm more interested in your Papa John legacy because you put on your name tag.
Papa Brooks. I made it Papa. I got into the label maker one day.
Yeah, but he drank the Kool-Aid and he was all into the Papa John
Oh,
franchise.
so
I loved it. Well, anything
You're
after the
indoctrinated.
cave was fantastic. I loved working at Papa John's. Everybody there was a character. But yeah, I was Papa Brooks. I got in the label maker and I labeled everything like the computer. And then I went through the keyboard and I labeled like the A button A and the B button B. So where my manager came in and he's like, what the hell? I was like, now we know what the keys mean. And he was like, this is just blatant you not working.
Yeah.
But
you
yeah,
have too much free time.
I wasn't there the day Papa
gosh.
John swung in. He just swung, he's like, he's in Dubuque. He's like, let's go check out my store.
He's a wild card.
Yeah, he had to step down because he's a crazy right-wing psychopath drunk.
Yeah.
Type in drunk Papa John. You're welcome.
It's an amazing Google image search.
Wait, he's not the guy in all the commercials? He's not.
No, he was. They took him out. He's out.
Oh, I didn't know
'Cause he
this.
blamed-
because he's a crazy alcoholic
Crazy,
and crazy right-wing.
right-wing psychopath
Oh, I
who
didn't know
blamed
this.
players not standing in the NFL
Ruining
from
his sales.
low pizza sales.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really? That took him down? That's
That
insane.
plus years of alcoholism.
Alcoholism. Yeah, okay,
Where
fair.
Yeah.
he's just, it's great.
There's some great Google images of him with obvious like college frat boys.
Yeah.
And he's like barely being held. He's being weekend at Bernied by like 2
Yes,
drunk
it's
college
true.
frat boys.
It's
Yeah.
at the University of Louisville because it's like
Wow.
Papa John's Stadium.
Yeah.
And he just goes there and just rocks and rolls with the college kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he came in to our store, just poked his head in, said hi to everybody. I guess was nice. And then the next day at school, my friend Brian, who'd got me the job, was like, oh my God, Papa John, he came to the store last night. And it honestly ruined like a week of my life because I was like, I could have met a celebrity.
You're
Like,
crushed.
I was crushed. This is in Dubuque, Iowa. We don't have rock stars rolling through every day.
I know, but it's bizarre because I think about like Chili's and Applebee's and Olive Garden and all of the
Mr.
hits.
Applebee's never
Yeah.
showed up.
That's what I'm saying. There's no face to any of
Yeah,
those
I
chains.
agree.
And so
Probably
Papa John's has
for
a
the
face.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they're like, we don't get a ruined reputation because we don't have an actual human being
Yeah.
terrible in the world.
Yeah, I mean, KFC had Colonel Sanders, who was just literally a crazy person. He was a Kentucky colonel, and then made everyone call him for real Colonel for the rest of his life.
And now every celebrity is playing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Which-
saw Wayne Knight as the Colonel the other night.
Wait,
No,
who?
he died a long time ago. I thought
Wayne Knight?
Newman.
Yeah.
He died. Can someone research this? I think he died like
I'm
5 or 6 years ago.
Newman didn't.
No,
oh.
Wayne
Knight.
No, you're
We're
incorrect.
finding out right now. I'm like,
Jack
almost
is Jack
positive.
checking this right
I'm-
now. But also, didn't your mom?
oh, he's still alive?
All right.
In fact,
so
I'm gonna Google Wayne Knight,
Brooks is just
Colonel Sanders.
spewing gossip and conspiracy
Hey,
theories.
it's part of our Michael Rappaport podcast love. I don't fact check.
No, I told Brooks how we talked to Josh Peck, who knew Michael Rappaport in New York, and how like they had kindred spirits because they're both like New York Jews that would
Well,
like.
you don't understand the wave of relief that is going through my body right now. I've been living thinking Wayne Knight has died for a long time. I
Yeah.
watched Jurassic Park not that long ago. I was like, oh man, he's dead. And
No,
he's not.
no,
What made
he's
you
still
think
alive.
he died? Who
Somebody,
else do you think has died?
somebody died that I assumed was
That you
him.
really like. something like another comedian.
Yeah, it was
or
another
comedy actor.
another character actor who had like lost a bunch of weight.
All right, let's talk about another walking corpse, Tommy Wiseau. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've met Tommy Wiseau.
A lot of people have.
I have a picture.
Jack
I'll show you a
Barrett-
picture.
So Jack and I met at My Dumb Channel, and Jack was producing the live show that we had with YouTube at the time. And I didn't even realize till you told me a few months ago that
He was a guest.
He was a guest on the show with Beth Hoyt, like a few months into like.
And Gabe Delahaye, do you know Gabe Delahaye? He came and co-hosted.
Maybe.
That.
He's
another
like stand-up with Max,
comedian.
Silvestri and all those
Oh
guys.
yeah, he's great.
Yeah. But Tommy Wiseau was there.
And Mark. Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah.
And
That's how Grace and I say hi to each other like almost daily. Oh hi, Grace.
Oh, hi, Brox. Yeah.
Oh hi, Goose.
Fantastic.
But I still haven't brought myself to watch the James Franco acceptance speech where Tommy tries to take the mic.
It's awkward.
It's great. Also, can we talk about how you tried to give me a Christmas present off of Tommy Wiseau's website?
I told them all last week that I don't know if the jacket's ever going to come.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come with a free watch and a free DVD. He took my money for sure. And there's a confirmation email that the money got accepted to his website, but no confirmation on whether any shipping has happened with this jacket.
He's busy. He's running around.
He's busy fake winning awards via James Franco.
Yeah. He's running amok. He's too busy to ship out
Okay, but
jackets.
here's a question.
There he is.
I found it on my Instagram, at Jack Fieri on Instagram.
There we go.
Get it? There's not just selfies. It's Tommy Wiseau and Jack Fieri selfies.
Oh, hi, Jack.
Okay, but here's a real question for you, Brooks Wheelan. If you had one day in Los Angeles with Tommy, just the two of you.
Great question.
He was like, hey, Brooks, take me around for the
Do
day.
it. You got to do it with the voice.
Hi, Brooks. Would you take me around for the day? Anything you want.
Well, it sounds like I'm going to have sex with him.
No, that's how he says to everyone.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
Oh my God.
Whatever you need.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Anything you want, you know.
If you
What?
showed up just now to this podcast, you're like, they're doing a racist accent. But we're not.
Yeah.
It's
No, we're
Tommy
just
Wiseau.
Yeah, no, he's from the
Tommy Wiseau.
USA.
It's New Orleans.
New
He's
Orleans. He's
from
from New
Louisiana.
Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you
Louisiana
had
accent.
a free day, money is no option, location is no option, and you just had a day, 24 hours to spend with Tommy Wiseau. What would you
This is a
do
great
with
question.
him?
I would just, oh gosh, I would watch The Room with him first,
Well, he would probably suggest that first.
and I would agree, and I would be like, tell me everything. I want to know your.
You want a running director's commentary.
Yeah, I would love a director's commentary.
Oh, yeah, live, commentary.
And then afterwards, I think I would spend the day being like, "Oh, my stomach hurts." And I would hang out in the bathroom on the phone. I wouldn't
While
want to
he,
hang
like-
out with him. And what would I do with He sounds very difficult.
Here's you have to have in my opinion,
Okay,
an
I
activity.
can't run away. Okay, all right.
No, but you have to have an activity.
Oh, so
my,
if you're handcuffed, Tommy
so
Wiseau
my-
for the day.
just to give you a suggestion,
Okay.
give you a jumping off point, my instincts go Dave and Buster's with Tommy Wiseau.
That's so funny you said that. I had the same thought.
Yeah, you
I
just
feel like
need
he'd be really
something-
good at Skee-ball.
But you also need something that doesn't require conversation.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of Skee-ball, Grace was there, but John Oliver is the best Skee-ball player of all time.
Really?
yeah.
He can't be beaten.
Oh, really?
It's extremely
He's from
frustrating.
England.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's,
they
which
have
is
it there?
Like
He's
it's
good
a
at-
sport of darts
he's
in that
good
country.
at these types of games.
Oh.
Either way, it was Mm.
Parlor games.
If you want to see an
devastating.
amazing video of John Oliver being fantastic at Skee-ball, it's
No,
on your Instagram.
I was on my story. I didn't put it on the gram because I
Yet.
felt that it might be a breach of, like I was like, oh,
Friend
this is a
contract.
friend. Yeah, this is a friend contract. But the story was funny. Either way, he hit 100. He needed 100 he needed 50 to tie or 100 to win.
and he went for the 100
He went
and
for the
got
100
it.
And he
and
got
got
it.
it. And I
Wow.
was crushed.
yeah.
And then Grace saw us just play Connect 4 intensely for like an hour.
It was
It's
it
like,
was just
like two master chess players.
Literally two Bobby Fishers staring each other down and looking at the board. In the back, we're all drunk playing pool. It's
great.
literally New Year's Eve day, and we're all like, "Yay,
Wow.
2018, getting drunk!" And this bar that's the only one open in Baltimore, and these two psychopaths are in the corner, like one of them's going to die if they don't win this game.
Yeah, I
Wow.
was like so mad at it. I was like, look, John, I understand you're smarter than me, but you're not Connect Four
To give
smarter than me.
to give context, Brooks opened for John Oliver in a bunch of comedy shows over Christmas
New
and
Year's.
New
It
Year's.
was really fun. We traveled all over the East Coast.
Yeah.
And Grace was there. It was super fun. But then either way,
It was super
Skee-ball was-
fun and but also just a testament that you guys have the same brain where you're both extremely competitive in terms of outsmarting each other. Like if you guys were
But
both
he's
on Survivor,
smarter than me.
but you don't fully believe that. That's why you compete against it because you're
Sure.
like, what if I'm smarter than the smartest man I think exists in the universe right now?
Okay.
Well,
either
I
way.
got to know who won the game of Connect Four.
He beat me like 3 games out of 4. I just need, and it was after after I won the 4th game, I was like, I can go home and sleep now.
Because
Like,
you got one.
It wasn't a fluke.
it wasn't a clean sweep.
Yeah.
Either way, me and Tommy Wiseau, I don't know. I think like going to the Hollywood Cemetery with him and having him just like explain famous people would be fun.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. If you countered it and said, you give me a tour of Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
Show me
Because what am I
the
gonna show
show me
him?
the real Hollywood,
you-
Tommy.
I would say let's get a TMZ bus, just me and Tommy. I'll let him drive and he gives me the grand tour of Hollywood the way he sees it and knows it.
Okay, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
also an
that's-
opportunity to do something that would be like, if I die doing this, it would be really embarrassing. But if I die doing this with Tommy Wiseau, they'll only talk about how Tommy Wiseau died doing it.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a great way to think about death. That you're like, if I died on this flight right now,
Oh, I think about
would-
this constantly.
this would be awful. But if Tommy Wiseau was here, I'd be okay with this.
Yeah,
kind
because
of
no
death.
one's going to care about
If
me
I
at that
die-
point.
Yeah. If I died
That-
playing go-karts, this would be really like shitty. But if I died playing go-karts with Tommy Wiseau, that's pretty okay.
Yeah, I was on a plane with John Oliver that had a diverted flight one time, like where it goes to land.
Oh yeah, you told me about
And
this,
then it,
which
like-
I've never heard of before.
Oh,
Explain
it
what,
happens,
wait,
yeah.
explain what
Pulls
this
up.
is.
So the plane is like we're going into land, and then it was just a hard pull up, like a hard, just like
Which
the
is what
plane
you
went-
see in movies.
Because otherwise it would have tipped.
It was like
It happens a
was-
lot.
Yeah, I've been on
I've
2
never
planes that
experienced
It's happened to me too. It's
But wait,
scary.
do they explain it to you when it's happening?
They
or
would
you
just tell us like strong winds. We're gonna come do it again.
Because you don't want to land on the wing. That's almost always why.
right, but in the moment that it's happening, when the plane pulls up, are they
No,
telling
they're
you?
not talking to you because they're busy flying the plane. It is scary. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
and
what
I
I'm
was
saying.
just, I
I've
was just
never
like, well,
experienced that.
it'll just be like John Oliver died, and I'd be like, so did Brooks, and a lot of other nice people probably.
Yeah, you're a footnote in that story.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well, that's why I was saying something embarrassing. So if you're gonna like I don't, it'd be really embarrassing if I died bungee jumping.
No.
But if I died bungee jumping with Tommy Wiseau, it'd be like, well,
Where
they're not
were-
gonna talk about me.
Yeah, I forget where we were, Grace. We were somewhere, and you were like, I don't want to, like, we were in Australia or something, and you're like, don't get eaten by a shark. And I was like, well, that's the way to die if you're
oh,
going
yeah,
to
we
die.
were talking about like swimming and sharks and all that.
Yeah, you're like, well, I don't want to go out there. There's sharks. I was like, that's if I'm gonna go. Let's.
is a good
let's
way
have
to
a
go.
Shark get me.
Yeah, but you say that about bears and camping and all that too.
That's what I mean. That's how I want to go. Is
Bears
like,
scare me. After seeing Grizzly Man, bears scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, no, when I camp like alone, I sleep with a knife, and I'm like, this will save me.
Yeah, I sleep with a bat in my house.
Yeah, you
so
do.
It works out.
And mace.
I sleep with a bear mace specifically, which I don't understand why it's different than human mace, but
You
it's
have
called bear mace.
You have 2 tasers and a bat.
Yeah, so don't
Wow.
come for me, anyone.
Jeez.
And I have a dog that will ruin
Oh
your
yeah,
life.
and you have a
Yeah.
dog that did she ever tell you about the time I met Goose? The last time I ever was in the
The first and only time that Jack Ferry's ever met Goose, she
tried to eat me.
went more nuts than any human
Whoa.
I've ever introduced her to before.
It's my raw masculinity.
Yeah, she was
very
offended
threatened.
by it.
Yeah.
She saw it as toxic masculinity, and she got very
I
offended.
think that Goose
To be
is-
fair, I was mansplaining you at the time.
Yeah, and you were manspreading. You were doing all of it.
I was doing all the mans
Yeah,
I think she's mellowed out, but that's just me.
sure. She has peaks
because
and
she
valleys.
knows you now.
Yeah, but
that's why.
I feel like she's mellowed out. I think she's good to go now.
I hope
That
you're.
seems
I
like
hope you're
I
right.
paid you to say that. on
No,
this
it's
pod.
mostly me trying to convince Grace that we could have friends over to her house to have a
And I'm like,
barbecue.
no, we can have friends, but Goose will go in boarding. Like, there's
I
no.
do feel slightly responsible for that
But everyone
because
else.
ever since that happened, she's been very cautious about having people over while Goose is home.
Well, no, it's way bigger picture, but it's something that I'm like, this is a thing. This is an animal I don't trust, and I'm the only person that can touch this thing.
Sure.
So why would I ever put anyone else in a situation where they presumably could be offended or affected by
Anyway,
this thing?
she's a treat, and she's got into a new thing where she break dances.
Yeah, she loves to dance on her back. It's really cute. speaking of dancing, let's talk about Guy Fieri for a second.
Mm-hmm.
We were just watching you did a stand-up bit last night.
I did a stand-up. Well, you were with me, and actually, you got your whole Grace Army to flip out on me from this.
Oh, right. I forgot about this. Yeah.
You
okay,
got
so
thousands and thousands of people to comment lies on my Instagram.
Yeah, this is where I finally really appreciated the value of the internet. But so we were in New York City over the holidays, and
we went to an Iowa football game at Yankee Stadium. It was fun.
Yeah,
Cool.
It was freezing, super fun. But then the next night we were just like, what do we do in New York? We're just trying to figure out. It was so cold.
Yeah.
It was so freezing. And we are just like, what do we do? And both of our phones were dying.
Because they froze. And we'd seen I, Tonya early in the day. And we liked it so much it ruined seeing another movie.
Right. So both of our phones were at 2%. So we couldn't even research great bars, good restaurants to go to, things to do in New York.
Even though we both lived there.
Right. My brain was frozen. I couldn't figure. I was like, what did I do here?
Yeah, when it's that cold, your brain just stops
but also,
working.
I lived in Brooklyn, so I realized most of my time was spent either hanging out in Brooklyn or at the People's Improv Theater. So there was no real
and I've only hung out at comedy clubs, and I was like, I don't want to go to
SNL.
stand-up.
And
yeah,
so
or 30 Rock.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's
I'm like, let's not go near either of those.
Right. And so eventually we settled on I had been to Guy Fieri's restaurant in Times Square before. And so we were like, let's go there. It's gonna be stupid. We went there. And
it was empty it was super empty.
It's a massive
huge
restaurant
on 44th Street, right in the middle of Times
Square.
It's
right by this the Sony PlayStation Theater.
Yeah. It's so big.
It's so big for a restaurant. Not even in New York, in the suburbs, it would be considered a huge restaurant.
Sure. Yeah.
And so we go there, and it's massive, but also totally empty, and just I was like, this must be the end of the night because servers, it was only 10 o'clock.
There was trash everywhere.
And I was like, I know from working at restaurants that at the end of the night, you're like, I'll fucking fix this as soon as my shift is over. I'm not going to clean up as I go.
Yeah,
so
your side work.
Yeah, I was like, they must just be at the end of their night.
Right.
And
so
then
we're eating at the bar. Somebody recognizes Grace. They come over.
They bought us a shot.
Yes.
This bartender comes over and
so
goes,
nice.
the guy over there bought you guys this shot. And then he comes over. He's so sweet. We find out was an employee of the restaurant. It was his last day.
Oh.
He watched the video. So he sent Brooks and I a shot and was telling us that Sunday, this is Friday, that the Guy Fieri restaurant was closing because it went bankrupt.
That's right.
We had no idea.
We did
about
not
this
know
at all. So Brooks in his brain was like, well, if it's, and we talked to him, he's super nice, really sweet guy. And then we leave and Brooks is like, I stole the menu because if it's closing, I'm taking the menu.
Sure, but
he's like,
take a memento.
Yeah. But he's like, take a photo of me in front of the restaurant and I'll hold the menu. And I took a photo and then he posted on his Instagram and I saw it later in the night because we decided to go keep the culture rolling and we went to Dave & Buster's right after.
Yeah, and we closed down Dave & Buster's.
Yeah, it was super fun. So it was just a real, standard New York City night.
And then we got used all of our tokens to get
mood
bouncy
rings.
Mood rings, yeah, which I wore for a while.
You wore them through the whole time that you were with John Oliver,
who I hadn't seen in a long time, and I never brought it up. And I was like,
he
thinks I'm into rings now.
Yeah.
But either way,
he posts this photo of him in front of Guy Fieri's restaurant holding the menu, being like, I knew Guy Fieri's restaurant was closing, so I stole a menu. And I was like, you didn't know. We just happened to be there and found out from an ex-employee that it was closing. This is a lie that you were posting.
Right.
There was we literally were going bar to bar, not knowing what to do in New York and settled on going to Guy Fieri's restaurant. And you're posting this as if this was our master plan.
Sure.
And so I asked everyone that follows my Instagram story and Snapchat story to write lies on his post.
Yeah, and it's thousands.
Right, but
there's
the best,
just thousands of comments that just says lies.
That you are a liar, lies. I can't believe you'd lie to us.
But the best part is that
so
in
funny.
between 2,000 lie comments, his mom commented, "Merry Christmas."
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I was like, oh, your poor mom must see this and be like, what did my son do?
Yeah.
And then I have to build him back up by saying,
I hope you're having a good day.
And then you're a liar, liar, liar.
Yeah.
At least they didn't call you a thief, which you actually were.
Oh, yeah. No.
But also the kid that bought us the shot was stealing a bottle of Grey Goose on the way out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm taking this.
I'm taking it. He was
great.
perfect.
He was great.
It was really so good.
That's so funny.
But also your mom never texted texted you or anything to be like, what's going on with this
My brother
Instagram?
commented, and I haven't even told him about it. Like a few days ago, he must have gone through it, and then he just commented, "Lies?" Question mark. Because you don't know the context. It's just
Yeah,
he's
it's a
like, "Oh, my
lot.
brother has thousands of comments on one photo, and it's all screaming that he's a liar."
Yeah, it's a confusing social media post, but that is a sign of the times for social media. So what fun.
Yeah, and I think you were fed up with how I do stand up, and I'll bend the truth, and you're like, "Enough's enough."
I was like, I'm calling you out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
This
the
is where
Katie
this is where I take
Kirk.
my stand at Guy Fieri's restaurant.
Yeah, I'm the Katie Kirk of this social media post.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to the truth. We're gonna get to more of the truth in a second. We'll be right back with more of Brooks Wheelan on Not Too Deep and your questions via Twitter. See you soon.
Not too deep.
Support for today's show comes from our good buddies at Squarespace.
I love these guys.
We both do because they've been like sponsoring our show from the very beginning. They've been huge supporters of ours.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, are you ready to start your new business? Make it stand out with Squarespace. With beautiful templates created by world-class designers, Squarespace makes it easy to turn your idea into a new and unique website.
But Jack, what if I want to showcase my work? Can I do that there?
Yes, you can.
What about a blog?
Absolutely.
Publish my content?
Not only can you publish content, you can even sell products and services of all kinds.
Whoa, but what about customizing everything from look and feel to settings and products?
It's so funny you mentioned it because you can absolutely do that with Squarespace. And it's optimized for mobile right out of the box.
I love that. Perhaps I could use Squarespace's analytics to help me grow in real time, question mark?
It's funny that you mention it because not only can you do that, but there's also nothing to install, patch, or upgrade ever.
Okay, but what if I have a question?
Well, good news. Squarespace's award-winning 24/7 customer support is there to help.
Whoa, it's as if destiny is calling.
It says you need a new website. Make it with Squarespace. And I love these guys, not just because they've been supporting us from the get-go, but I use Squarespace to build my now multiple websites for the many podcasts that I do. And let me tell you, it's super easy to update. And if I can do it, surely you guys can.
Truly.
So head to squarespace.com for your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code GRACE, GRACE, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com, offer code GRACE.
Not too deep.
Wow, Grace, you look very well rested.
How dare you be so kind? Thank you. I am.
Is that because you got a very comfortable mattress in your home?
Yes, it's directly related to that. And guess what? How weird, coincidental that they're the sponsor of this week's podcast.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Let me guess. It must be a Casper mattress.
It is a Casper mattress. If you guys do not know or are unfamiliar with, Casper is a sleep brand that continues to revolutionize its line of products to create an exceptionally comfortable sleep experience one night at a time.
And here's the thing, guys. They have 3 mattress models now.
Whoa.
They've got the original Casper and the Wave
Ooh.
and the Essential. Casper mattresses are perfectly designed to soothe and cradle your natural geometry.
Who doesn't want to be soothed and or cradled? Or both?
Yeah, and it's got a very breathable design that lets you sleep cool and regulates your body temperature throughout the night, which I think that dog that's barking could definitely use.
Yeah, if you were sleeping next to a dog right now that's barking like that, it wouldn't matter. You'd be so comfortable in your Casper mattress that you'd sleep right through it. You wouldn't even know what we're talking about right now.
That's right.
The fun thing too, and this is a magic trick that I still can't get over, is that it's delivered to your door in a small, how do they do that, size box with free shipping and returns in the US and Canada.
And you can be sure that your purchase is going to be the best night of sleep that you've got because you've got 100 nights to try out this mattress and you can sleep on it for 100 nights risk-free because after 99 nights, if you decide, I don't like it, you can send it back.
That's great. 100 nights.
100 nights. That's over 3 months.
And here's a fun fact that I never realized. You spend 1/3 of your life sleeping.
Yeah.
So why not make it comfortable?
Yeah, exactly.
I can speak to this because I do sleep on a Casper mattress, and it is so insanely comfortable. And as an adult, Casper mattress shopping in general is weird and confusing,
Agreed.
and you don't know. It makes you wonder, how did my parents get a mattress for me growing up? How did this happen? This is hard, but they make it so easy. And like I said, the box gets delivered to your door, and you say, "I think I've been pranked. There can't possibly be a mattress in this box."
Are these just the sheets?
Yeah, and then you roll it out, and then it just sort of like grows in front of your eyes into this like amazing looking thing, and it is so insanely comfortable. I think I've been sleeping on a Casper mattress for like the last 3 years or so.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty comfortable mattress.
And it's great. I'm still alive, so it's doing great work for me.
Well, if you want to be like Grace, you can start sleeping ahead of the curve with Casper.
Yes, get $50 towards a select mattress by visiting Casper, CASPER.com/Grace, GRACE, and use Grace at checkout. That's Casper.com/Grace. Offer code Grace for $50 off your mattress purchase. We're back with the Brooks, Wheelan.
Yeah, because there's so many people with that name.
Brooks, Patrick, Wheelan the first.
The first. That's true, yes.
You're named after what baseball player?
Brooks Robinson.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
The people that listen to this podcast, I guarantee 90% of them are unfamiliar with that.
Who I think is still alive, but might be dead.
Yeah, you have a funny story because your dad named all you and your brothers after just athletes that he admired.
Yeah, my brother's name's Brett, after George Brett, and then my other brother's name his real name is James. That's my dad's real name. But then my mom was like, I don't want to call him Jim Jr. We already live in the woods. Like, that's pretty like, so he went by his middle name, Brad, and then my dad had to make it up that he was like, you're named after Phil Bradley, who's another third baseman. He's like, so I named you all after third baseman, but in reality, he had to make it up later.
So it's all third baseman that you're
yeah, my dad was a third baseman. And
he was, and
he
his
was.
Oh, okay.
He played like in college.
You don't have a Schmidt?
No, he doesn't like Robin Schmidt that much because
I was gonna say Mike Schmidt.
Mike Schmidt, that's what I mean. Sorry, I don't know who I'm thinking about. Robin Yount or something. I don't know. He doesn't like Mike Schmidt that much because like they argue over who's the best, him or George Brett. And my dad's a Kansas City guy. But Mike Schmidt's great.
But you and your brothers grew up wrestling and not playing baseball.
Right? Yeah, we weren't good at baseball. Well, I wasn't good at baseball, and neither was my other brother. My oldest brother, but my middle brother was. It's weird. Who knows? But my dad would take us to baseball card shows and then literally use me as like a prop to be like, hey, Brooks Robinson, his name is Brooks too. Can we have tickets to an Orioles game? And Brooks Robinson is rad. And he said, yeah.
And it worked.
Wow.
Yeah, I was actually having drinks with my friend last night and we were talking about how baseball players used to have to go do baseball card shows.
Yeah, that's like a Larry David episode. Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's waiting in line to get the like baseball card signed.
But baseball players are so rich now. Like it's like
they wear belts.
Imagine, they wear belts. Imagine Derek Jeter needing to make money.
Yeah,
so he goes
insane.
to Toledo, Ohio to wait in line, to have people wait in line so he could sign stuff and make, like $5,000.
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
Instead, he just marries J-Lo and it all works out.
Did he?
Yeah, they're dating big time.
Okay.
Yeah. He holds her
I heard
son.
he's dead, and I'm positive.
Derek Jeter is not dead.
I know, I'm joking.
I thought you were
He is
telling
the
us that you're
captain.
positive for a
Stop it.
disease. I was like,
no,
what?
I'm joking.
Okay, we're going to get into some Twitter questions in a second. Before we do, I'm going to ask you the two questions I ask every single guest that's on the podcast.
Okay.
And the first is, who, alive or dead, would you most want to throw cold spaghetti at?
I don't know. I guess this is just proof that I don't listen to your podcast. This is it.
This is basically just a test. These I can be like, I ask every single guest this.
Yeah. So you must have your answer all queued up.
Yeah. Who would I throw cold spaghetti at? I mean, the people I don't like, I'm not going to say. So it has to be somebody I respect.
See, every person has a different train of thought for how they would approach
Well, I don't want to
this.
make enemies.
Right, but some people would like it, so people take it in different regards.
Yeah. I guess I would throw it at, I don't know. I think FDR could have used a little pizzazz in his life.
All right.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yeah. I bet he was all bumming out with having polio and stuff, and then out of nowhere, he hit him with cold spaghetti and World War II's happening and he's just like mad, but then it was the tension he needed to get
Just
a laugh
a
that
quick
day.
giggle. A quick giggle.
Just he's like, what the fuck? I can't barely walk and I'm fighting this war and we're on the brink of total world domination by Nazis. All right, that got me.
Yeah.
I got cold spaghetti.
Yeah. That's just a quick giggle.
Yeah, I needed that today. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's take today. The rest of the day is off, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
No war today.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ride around in a car and pretend like I can walk.
It's fair. Totally fair. And if any of you wanted a quick history lesson, you got it there.
Oh yeah, I got upset. I got upset with you on a plane recently.
I don't like the start of this story.
We were watching Dunkirk, and
because I wasn't prepared mentally to watch Dunkirk.
yeah, but
That's a very intense
she
movie,
was
I hear.
it is intense, and in the movie, the English people and the French people aren't getting along. So, there's no Americans in it, so it is confusing over which war it is. And if you're not given any information, which Grace was given none before, and I looked it
Also,
up.
this is a plane ride back home for the holidays, which I drank heavily before because I am mentally preparing to go home for the holidays.
You're going to the place that gave you the anxiety you carry in your life.
Exactly.
The epicenter. It's your Mordor of
So
anxiety.
on top of that, we watched Dunkirk on a plane that has turbulence the whole time. That feels like we're in a fucking Universal Studios ride the whole time.
Yeah.
So there's many layers to this story.
And also Dunkirk, if you haven't seen it, it's fantastic, but there's not.
It's beautiful.
There's not much. There's no narrative really.
There's the screenplay's like 70 pages because it's all visual.
There's not a lot of
cool.
talking.
There's no story, and they didn't give Harry Styles enough lines,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Okay, and it just drops you in and takes you out. There's no. This is what's happening. This is the end. So Grace was like, "Why are the English and the French fighting?" And I'm like, "They're not, but they are in the scene. They're not getting along." So you're like, what was going on? And then I was like, it's World War II. And then you're like, who is that between? And I was like, how dare you? Like, what?
I was not there to talk about history.
No, I know. But then I was like, in my brain, I was like, how could I be friends with someone who does not know who World War II was between?
Yeah,
And then
I
we
went to
got
college.
we got into a tiff about it.
The
And then I
answer
was
is
just-
usually the Allies versus Germany to most of those questions,
Yeah,
though.
no, it was
Both world wars.
Well, it wasn't your fault at all. You were just like, you weren't into Dunkirk. I really was pushing it on you.
It sounds like you were stressed out. Maybe you're stressed from the travel and you were taking it out.
I was loving Dunkirk, and I was just frustrated that I didn't feel like Grace was enjoying it as much as I was.
Either way, great story for the podcast. Glad everyone knows it now.
No,
Thanks.
that's it. That's not a negative thing. It's a weird movie to jump into.
Go to dunkirk.com/grace and get your discount code on watching Dunkirk. It's really great. Okay, the other question that I ask every single guest on the podcast is to tell us your worst pants shitting story or close call, but you can only use 3 words or small phrases. So mine is college jogging front lawn.
Oh, okay. I guess Target 3 times.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
man.
Okay.
Yeah.
No follow-up
It's-
questions.
It's just happened in Target a couple times.
But to be fair, yeah, a lot. You're not the first person that's had a Target bathroom experience.
Which has a bathroom,
Right.
which is ironic.
No, that's where you go
That's
throw your underwear.
Yeah, that's where their garbage cans are specifically underwear in those bathrooms.
Oh, I got a different one. Applebee's perfect margarita.
Now you just sound like the marketing team for an Applebee's drink menu right
Yeah.
now.
No, yeah. Tell us your perfect pants shitting story. Applebee's perfect
I didn't say
margarita.
perfect pants shitting story.
Worst.
I think you're.
I was on tour with my friend, and we both thought it'd be funny to get drunk on those. And then the next day, we both shit our pants
All right.
Oh my God.
at
Well,
separate times.
I definitely didn't ask for the actual
Oh my
story, but
God.
thanks for providing it. That's
Oh
great.
my God.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have a segment called This is Curious, where we look back at something you've posted online that seemingly is confusing to us, and we would love your context on
Okay.
it. So this is a tweet you posted that says, well, this is a new low for a joke idea I don't remember writing down. I can't understand how I thought this might make sense. And then you attached a screen grab of your notes folder, and it reads, read obituaries, they don't get awards.
I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
I don't know.
And this is at 4 p.m. So it's not like late in the middle of
No,
the
but
night or anything.
that's when I'm reading what I'd written the night before.
So it was like you were up at night and you're like, this is a funny joke. I
I was
need to write it
definitely
down.
drunk and like had said something that really got me.
Okay.
And I put like when I think of something funny, I'll put it in my notes section, and then the next day, almost always, I would say 99 times out of 100, I can understand what I was talking about. And I don't know how read obituaries they don't get awards could possibly be funny. So that's what that is. It was a low. This is not my best tweet. I'm glad you guys found this one. This one up.
Yeah. I also like that there are suggested words as if you just type this in your notes section. So people, your phone is telling you awards, or do you mean any or along? So
yeah, read obituaries. They don't get along. That makes sense.
That's actually that might
they
be,
don't get any.
They don't get any. Yeah.
Love. I don't
they
know.
don't get any.
I honestly looked at that for a long time and was like, whew, I must have really thought this was funny because there's no spelling errors, so I wasn't that drunk.
No, unless your autocorrect was really on point that day.
Yeah.
Also, your phone is at 82%, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because
For 4 in the afternoon? That's very impressive.
Yeah, Brooks is a consummate 2%er.
Yeah. Yes.
All day.
We are the 2%.
Yeah.
But great. Thank you for that commentary on
Yeah,
what
I don't
this
know.
could have
I don't know how that joke. I don't know how it would have gone. I don't, and I honestly thought about it for a long time. I was like, "This, I must have really liked it."
Well,
Read-
tweet us your suggestions, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
read
read
Turn this-
obituary. What could
Turn this into a
possibly-
joke.
Read obituaries. They don't get awards. What could that mean?
Where is the joke? Where is the bit there? No
Yeah.
one knows.
I remember my PE teacher in elementary school was like my favorite guy. He was so cool. I think it was Mr. Carlson. He was rad as heck. And then his side job was he wrote obituaries. Like,
Really?
What?
because it's a small town. Yeah. And then he was like,
Wow.
he also writes the obituaries. I'm like, the coolest guy I know.
But obituaries are submitted by the people. No one writes them. You
Maybe
write
he
them.
worked at a funeral parlor.
Yeah, 'cause
I
I'm like,
don't-
the obituaries are submitted by the loved one that lost someone that says, hey,
Well,
newspaper,
not-
print this about this person.
he worked at he had something to do with funerals. And I was like,
So,
he's such a nice guy.
He's a serial killer, is
no,
what you're saying.
he's not. You don't say that about Mr. C.
Speaking of serial killers, let's go to Twitter for some questions for Brooks Wheelan submitted by you guys that have inquiring minds. Our first question comes from Mackie Bees, and they want to know which guinea pig Instagram account is your favorite.
Oh boy.
Do you follow guinea pigs on Instagram?
Yeah, I follow a lot of guinea pig accounts. I had to do a purge the other day, to be honest.
Brooks is a connoisseur of guinea pigs. It's a real.
Did you have them growing up?
Oh yeah, lots of guiney pigs. Xena was probably my favorite.
Wait,
Warrior
give
Princess?
her full name.
Xena, warrior piglet. She was wonderful.
But your stories of Xena, and you tell a lot of them in your stand-up, but they're so great that it's clearly like a boy that's sensitive growing up with two
Yeah.
older crazy brothers that has this outlet of this sweet, sensitive, soft thing that you would like
Aw.
put her in the backyard when clearly she's a
Oh
target.
yeah, I would have the guinea pig Olympics, which I would just like put her at the bottom of the stairs and then like time her, and then I would put like a carrot on each stair to see how long it would take her to go up the stairs. But guinea pigs don't really. This one didn't move, so it would just be me shoving a guinea pig up the stairs. Being like, whoa, somebody's really rocking and rolling today. Like, there's a new record for Xena. And,
Oh, you're doing color commentary.
Oh, for sure. I would build a maze out of kindling. We had kindling,
Yeah.
which is like the stuff you use to
Sticks?
start. Not sticks. It would be blocks of wood, and you chop them with a hatchet.
To start fires.
To start fires, yeah. I would build a maze and put cheese at the end of it and be like, okay, Xena, figure it out. Like,
But you also used to have her like in your backyard. You told me this story that made me laugh so hard.
I built a backyard pen for her.
in your
out of
tiny
chicken-
child brain,
Yeah, out
being
of
like
chicken
"And
wire.
My
yeah.
animal will love being outdoors.
She loves clovers. I would pick her clovers, and she would go to town on them. So I was like, I just let her live in the clovers. And I lived out in the woods, like deep in the woods. So it was just trees everywhere, no other houses. And I'd put her in the middle in a pen. And in her like instincts, she's like, this is where everyone who wants to eat me is. Like,
Yeah, sure. She was terrified.
tons of hawks everywhere. Like bald eagles lived like around. And so she would just freak out and like go hide in the shadows. And I'd be like, there's no clovers in the shadows. Like, it was just me. I kept like putting her back in what her brain was terrible danger.
Yeah, you kept putting her back into the Hunger Games,
Yeah.
and she was like, "No,
Yeah.
I need to get to the
Yeah,
wall."
that was Xena
Aw.
Warrior Piglet. She was great. So yeah, I love guinea pigs. I like I guess Sweet Olive and Little Mo are cute. for my Instagram. They're cute.
Yeah, we were both following Lady Pigford, who is a really funny Instagram account out of the UK, somewhere in the UK.
Yeah, she's funny, but she was posting.
She also gets really mean on her.
Yeah, she's like, this doof.
This fucking bitch came
Yeah.
home and like
Yeah.
Wow.
it crosses, but it's also this like UK sarcasm.
Sure, very
you know,
dry.
That's very much more direct, and so it's really funny, and then sometimes feels like
She was just posting a lot, so I'd say Sweet Olive and Lil Mo right now are some faves. My favorite hedgehog to follow.
Oh right, you're
is
a big
Mr. Pokey.
Mr. Pokey, Pokee.
Yeah.
He's a German.
Yeah, I follow him. He hasn't earned your follow yet.
I'm still waiting. I think I've mentioned him in previous podcasts.
Yeah.
You'll
ask me, you go, what's Mr. Pokey up to?
Right, because it's a great, wonderfully curated hedgehog account. However, my biggest tiff is that the owner shows up too much.
Yeah,
It
you
takes
like-
the reality out of it.
You like to think that the animals are typing.
I like to think that he, with his tiny arms, is typing his thoughts
Like,
out.
I'm here in Germany, but it's not. It's like, here's Mr. Pokey in Germany, and they just hold him on his back where he's
But also,
helpless.
she shows up and she'll be like, "Here I am. We're gonna do a Q&A," and I'm like, "I don't want that."
Right.
Anyway, that's really important information that
Yeah.
everyone should know. Okay, Lily wants to know if you had to be any breed of dog, which would it be?
I'd be a Lhasa Apso. I had a Lhasa Apso named
What's
Phoebe
that?
growing up. It's like a like a Shih Tzu, but it's not.
A Lasso?
Lhasa Apso.
Lots of opso.
Yeah, it's.
I've
I
never
had
heard that
one
before.
growing up. Her name was Phoebe, and she was cute as heck.
But she looks like a.
If you see them on like dog shows, they're the ones with really long fur. But we never let her grow it out. We're like, make her. Don't. I'm not gonna brush her. So she was just real cute. Lhasa Apso. It's the one you see that you're like,
That
is
looks
that
like a
Kurt?
mop?
It's like a mop. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mel's got a picture. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
she
like
was great.
Gandalf as a dog.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that as a shout out to Phoebe.
Rest in peace, Phoebe. And
Rest
from
in
the
peace.
other world, she listens to this podcast constantly.
Yeah.
She leaves us ratings on iTunes, which you guys should all do, by the way. Leave us ratings. It's how people find our podcast. Phoebe has left a great one. Go check it out.
How dare you?
Okay. Mayor Lachlan wants to know, what's the dirtiest thing you've said to your grandma or an elderly person?
Oh,
I feel
don't
like,
know.
well, this ties in line with the question I was going to ask you about we were talking earlier about hecklers at shows. And I feel like you are very hilarious about the way you handle hecklers. You have a really funny story about how a couple broke up in front of you at a show.
Yeah,
Oh.
I watched a breakup while I was doing stand up one
Oh
time.
my God.
and
This is the most insane story.
because I was doing stand up, but like if you do enough anything, you can put it in autopilot.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever's happening here is
I
more
don't
interesting.
remember the last 40 minutes of this podcast, to
Exactly.
be frank.
Yeah, no, totally. You can just put an autopilot, and I just watched them break up. Yeah.
So they were sitting front row at your show and they were
Front
clearly
row.
talking the whole time.
Front row, the girl was clearly intoxicated. She wouldn't stop talking. I was like, and I don't look. I get it if you worked all week. I never get mad at hecklers. Only twice have I made people leave, and it's because I'm like, would you be quiet, or if you wanted to talk, you could go out and leave. Like
But
that's
also,
what I
yeah,
say.
and you're
I
the-
don't engage.
Right. And you're the voice of reason for everyone else there that's trying to have
Trying
a
to
good
enjoy
time.
the show.
Yeah, and only twice, and it's the same thing both times. Somebody is like, "Well, you ain't making me laugh," and I'm like, "Then go."
Yeah,
like, that's happened.
You're wasting your own money and everyone else's experience.
Yeah, that's happened like twice out of I don't know, thousands of shows.
Mm-hmm.
But usually I'm just like, "Hey, you're talking. You're on your phone. Don't sit in the front row if you're going to be talking on your phone.
Right.
Go to the back. You play on your phone
Go
the
to
whole
the
time."
bathroom.
Yeah. But she wouldn't stop. Then her boyfriend stormed out. And then I was like, what was that all about? I was like, you can go too. And she's like, no, I want to watch the show. And then she started laughing too hard. Like she was leaning in too hard.
She was
Oh,
overly
man.
compensating.
Overcompensating. I was like, I'm not even doing a joke right now.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna close with this bit. And she got up and left. And I was like, why choose now to leave?
Yeah, this is the big joke.
No, not even the big joke. And I'm like,
But also-
you sat here for 45 minutes.
Sat here just like so inauthentically laughing at everything for the last.
That was bizarre. But the dirtiest thing I've ever said to my grandparents, I don't know. I don't see them often.
Do they watch any of your stand up or any of your comedy?
Well, my grandma Gert, she told me she tried to watch my show, meaning Saturday Night Live. But it
Yeah, if
was,
you guys didn't know,
but it
Brooks
wasn't
Wheelan
for
Was
her.
that your show?
Yeah,
Wasn't for her.
She goes, I tried to
Wait.
watch your show. It just wasn't for me. And I'm like, first of all, not my show. And secondly, you're not wrong.
Right.
So I don't know. I was just like, okay,
so
Grandma, thank you for the attempted support.
She tried. I mean, she understood that you were on a show.
She also said it was on too late, which is not. She's not wrong.
Yeah.
Saturday night. It's late.
11:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's late.
Well, it's 10:30 Central Time. She lives in Missouri.
Still
She's
too
cool.
late.
A
Okay.
girl tried to rob my grandma one time recently.
What?
Like
Whoa.
a girl came in with a gun. My grandma runs a t-shirt shop, and she was like, "Give me all your money, you bitch." That's what she said to my 80-year-old grandma. And my 80-year-old grandma literally just grabbed the gun and was like, "Absolutely not."
Wait, what? Wait. Okay, there's many things to unpack from this story. Your grandmother runs a t-shirt shop.
Yeah, called I think it's called T-Scene. It's in.
But wait, does she actually live on the Jersey Shore? Because that's the only place I've ever seen a t-shirt shop.
No, she does like printing. Like if you have like a school,
Like t-shirt press, yeah.
Yeah, if you have like a school,
So like a trophy shop, but for t-shirts.
totally. And she's run it ever since my whole life.
So she does screen printing and all that.
Yeah. So a woman came and tried to rob her, and my grandma just grabbed at the gun. And then,
Wow.
and then instead of calling the 911, she called my aunt, Patty, and she goes, "Patty, somebody's trying to rob me." So then Patty had to call the cops. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds
And then she
right.
moved locations, and she moved locations because there was a bad part of the town, I
But
guess.
also, if you have a gun and you want to rob someone, whose first thought is the t-shirt shop has all
Yeah,
the money?
Yeah,
I need to
exactly.
get it from the
Strange.
t-shirt shop.
But yeah,
Odd choice.
she moved locations to a new spot, like a new strip mall, and then a porn store opened next to it.
Oh.
And everyone is like, "Oh gosh, Grandma has a t-shirt shop next to the porn store, whatever." And then I went and visited her, and she was just like, "Did you see the porn shop next to it?" Like, yeah. So she's super funny.
Does she currently have that t-shirt shop still?
Heck yeah, she works there every day.
Wow.
What, can we shout out to it? What is it
I think
called?
it's called T-Scene. I look.
Okay.
It's in Jeff City. She's the best. And
Find T-Scene in
she-
Jeff
she
City
is
next to the porn shop.
She's a no bullshit lady, and she's rad, and her name's Gert. But you can't call her Gertie. She gets mad if you call her Gertie.
Because her name's Gertrude.
Gertrude, yeah.
Yeah.
Classic
Gert.
grandma name, Gert. Yeah.
So she was born a grandmother, basically.
Well, not in the 30s.
Sure.
There's a bunch of Gerts running around.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, she's rad as heck. So I don't know.
Go support her business. Support it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mel
Mel
found the
found
Oh, you
shop.
found it? Yeah. Yeah, it's great. T-Scene. I don't know what it stands for. It's had it my whole life. I have a bunch of shirts from it. I wear a Jeff City, Missouri
We should
shirt.
do some not too deep merch, maybe through T-Scene.
There you go.
that
yeah,
could be
I mean, I'll be honest. She's always busy, dude. Like,
She might not be able to squeeze us in.
that's what I'm saying. I don't think she needs help. She's rocking and rolling over there.
Yeah, she's busy dodging gunshots.
She thought she got robbed recently. Nope, just raccoons got in and ruined the place. They got in through the air ducts and just
Oh, man.
she just came in.
So-
And she's like, it was just ransacked, and I was like, oh, I got robbed at my new store. She's like, no, it's just raccoons everywhere.
I mean, Iowa is alive and well.
This is in Missouri. This is Jeff City.
Great. Perfect.
Yeah.
Missouri,
My-
alive and well.
Parents grew up in Missouri, but then they thought there's too much happening. Let's get to
There's
Iowa.
too much of a
I don't like the
scene
big
here.
city.
Yeah, let's get out of Missouri. It's too exciting.
Too much culture.
Yeah.
Okay. We have Half Crown 26 wants to know any advice for not dying during midterms. You have higher education, which
Sure.
is slightly rare in the world of people that are creatives nowadays.
Yeah. I was a biomedical engineer.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is bonkers that I don't think a lot of people I know, but a lot of people don't know that you were a man of science for many years.
I was a scientist. I was a real,
Yeah.
I did it for 4 years after college. I worked at,
You studied heart valves?
I was a cardiovascular biomechanics major. And then I
Wow.
worked on heart valves and then got a job at like the top heart valve company.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in
You
Iowa.
mean you made artificial heart valves?
Yeah.
Wow.
I worked in it's
That's
called Edwards
impressive.
Life Sciences. It's a great company. I was fired for completely reasonable reasons.
Yeah, it's one of the companies that he had to be seen out of the
Well,
building.
no, they asked. They're like, do you want to be escorted out? Because they're like, most people are embarrassed when they get fired. I was like, no way. I was high-fiving people. I'm like, I'm out. I got fired.
Oh.
But also, wait, was this the lab that you started vining at?
No, that was my next job.
Okay.
Why did you get fired?
Well, I just wasn't. I only used biomedical engineering as a way to get out of Iowa. So I was only looking for jobs in New York City and Los Angeles to pursue stand-up.
Yeah, because you were doing like open mics and stand-up in Iowa at the time.
So I was like, I found a job in Irvine, California. And so I lived in Long Beach because I was like, that's in the middle of LA where I need to be for comedy and Irvine where I need to be to make money. So I'd drive to Irvine and then leave early and go do open mics in LA. And I just really didn't care at all. And
So you were fired for apathy.
Yeah. And also I tweeted some stuff.
Oh, this is curious.
Yeah. I took a photo of I got a new boss and we didn't get along because she didn't like how I was only there like 4 hours a day.
Yeah. Wait, is this the
That'll
job
do
where
it.
you and your coworker had a bet to see who could not use their computer the longest?
Yeah, me and Jesse. When you have this is the type of stuff we talk about on Entry Level, my podcast. When you are at a job that you don't want to be at, you immediately can see the other people who don't want to be there, and you become friends and allies.
Right.
And
then you also create these like games for each other to make the workday go faster.
How very Jim Halpert of you.
Yeah. So Jesse and I would see who could go longer without turning their computers on. And we were working in a workspace where everyone could see your computer.
Sure.
So it's clearly
That's
not
a great
on.
contest.
And I went like a day and a half of just sitting at my desk.
Without needing to turn your computer on and no one telling you.
Like when people would walk by, I'd pretend to be on my calculator. Like, yeah. But
I'm doing the spreadsheet by hand.
I took a photo of my boss. It was mean what I did. And I posted, she was like a larger woman and she was opening up the refrigerator in the break room. And I tweeted, looks like it's feeding time. And yeah, no, it was mean. I'm not proud of it. But she was terrible. She'd always be like, you're late, like, so
when you were late.
Yeah. Yeah. So she was just being an actual boss.
She was just literally there looking out for the company's best interest. And I was not having it. I'm like, this is just a stepping stone to my comedy career.
They don't realize that I'm using this.
Yeah. So yeah, I got fired for that, where she showed me that tweet. She'd like laminated it. I was like, oh boy.
Well, laminating is
that's a big step.
Yeah.
That's the funniest part to me is we didn't have a laminator at work. So she went to like a Kinko's.
Oh
and was like,
my.
Will you laminate this photo of me that says it's feeding time, please? I have to fire a kid.
Wow.
Wow.
I was like 24, so I wasn't a kid. I was an adult man.
Yeah, you were an adult man talking to an adult woman about the way she lived her life.
And I probably had 30 Twitter followers at the time.
Did you apologize?
Oh, no. I told that story on television. Yeah. I was so mad at her.
For just holding you accountable?
Yeah, I completely deserved it. Yeah. And then I got a job for a startup at Caltech where I vined all day long.
Yeah, Brooks was a big viner. Yeah, he vined big time.
I was an early...
I hear Vine Point 2 or whatever. Vine version 2 is coming out
I was
soon.
like a real early viner.
Yeah, I was shocked. He spent a night showing me all of his vines. And the vines didn't end. I was waiting to be like, okay, there's probably like 10 like good vines that he's showing me. It was endless. And I was like,
wow.
So you're a viner.
Yeah, I got like 10,000 followers like within the first like week because it was so new.
Yeah, sure.
And I had a narrative. And I never collaborated or anything it was just me and harassing my coworkers, but not harassing. There was like, they were in on it. Exploiting. Yeah. There was a guy named Ramiro I liked, but didn't like me. I hated Craig. I thought John was whatever.
You created a basically like based on reality, fictitious workspace.
Yeah. And it was super fun. And then I tried to Vine once at SNL and they were like, don't do that. And I was like, okay, never mind. Sorry.
And then you wrote it off for the rest of your life. This is kind of fitting. Okay, Merch wants to know, what's the first joke you were proud of writing?
I remember the first joke that I was like, and that's how you do a joke. Was when Steve Irwin died. Stingray killed Steve Irwin.
The crocodile hunter.
Crocodile hunter, exactly. And I was like, a stingray? That's like if the Marlboro man died, but from smallpox, which is a joke that I remember being like, yes, I am a genius. And no, it's not good.
Or did you tell that for the first time?
Penguins in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And I'm sure I told it for a year. And it, like,
Penguins is
a comedy club.
okay.
Penguins Comedy Club. It's still there.
Still exists.
Yeah,
okay.
it's great. It got flooded in like 2008. Now it moved.
Okay.
A lot of places have moved.
After you've been there.
Yeah. But yeah, that joke was, I just was like, that's a good joke. I used to have a joke about how I bought a sword, but didn't know what to do it. So I would knight the pizza delivery guy. And I remember when I was always my closer, and I was like 19 or 20. And I remember literally thinking like, oh, I'm never going to write a joke better than this. Like, 'cause it would just crush because I was so bad at stand-up that people were just like, this actually has the mannerisms of a joke. We've been waiting for someone to just at least have the confidence.
Right. But here's a question that I don't know the answer to. And we're coming to the end of the podcast anyway, and this might be more serious, but what was the first time growing up that you were like, I want to make people laugh. I think this is funny. Like, was it your brother? For me, it was my older brothers that were really, really funny. And I was like, they're making people laugh. I want to do what they do, and I want to make them laugh more than anyone. Like, was there a moment in time that you were like, a light switch flipped, and this is what you want to do?
I mean, we would just like SNL was just like a thing
that you watched with your family?
Constantly, not with my family, with my brothers. And Adam Sandler was, he would come on. There's just like a rule I remember. On Saturday nights, I would get to stay in my brother's room. They stayed in the basement, and I lived upstairs next to my parents. It was like one of the split level, basement.
Yeah, you sound like you lived in an apartment complex with your family.
Yeah, it was like a 3-bedroom house in the woods in Iowa. It was a great place to live. But I would get to sleep on the floor in my brother's room on Saturday nights. And the rule was we would have to go to bed after Weekend Update in case Adam Sandler did a thing. Because I was so obsessed with Adam Sandler.
Wow.
So that's when I was like, oh, I want to, it's so weird. I was like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have. I was like, I want to be on Saturday Night Live. Then I got in fourth grade at like a book fair. There was like a book you bought on, like it could be, Barry Sanders' story. I remember I bought Barry Sanders, like the story of Barry Sanders and the story of Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And I found out Adam Sandler did stand up first
so
before he got on SNL.
Do that.
So literally in 4th or 5th grade, I started writing jokes.
That's when you first started writing jokes in 4th and 5th grade?
Yeah, and I would test them out on people by saying, I heard this on TV. And then,
that's so funny.
And then
you tried to pass them off as jokes that already existed.
And only if people laugh would I go, actually, I wrote that. So I was just walking around.
That's such a smart little boy thing to be like, I can do no wrong with this if I present it as if it's not mine.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. That wasn't funny. That comedian is stupid.
Yeah.
I just needed to get a follow-up on what I already thought about this joke.
Yeah. And then I just lucked out that my oldest brother was a bartender at Penguins, like the only comedy club in Eastern Iowa.
Okay.
So he told me, he was like, they have an open mic. You can do that. And that's how I was that's how I started it.
That's super fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really nice of him.
What a funny thing for a 4th grader to go around.
It's nice that you had a supportive older brother.
Yeah, it was weird because I was the quiet, weird one who loved the guinea pig. And when I didn't tell my parents I was doing stand-up for a bit. And then I was like, I do stand-up comedy. And they were like, what? You're the least funny one of the 5 of us. And they were probably not wrong.
You've been observing and taking notes for years.
Yeah. I was like, you guys scare me.
Amazing.
Lol. Family ties.
Yeah.
Brooks, we're coming to the end of the podcast, which we want to thank you for giving us your time.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me over here. I drank some coffee and it's making me sweat.
Perfect. But also we have a gift for you. It's a fortune cookie that is tailored especially for you that you can open and
tailored
read.
Especially? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm just getting crumbs everywhere.
That's what fortune cookies do.
I know. Shouldn't eat a fortune cookie under a microphone.
We've had it happen already.
Oh, my fortune cookie says, this is very exciting. Hold on.
Yeah.
You can tell I had coffee. I'm shaking.
I know.
Oh,
but
wow.
that's a good thing about podcasts
excited.
Is that you can't read, you can't see.
Lucky numbers. Wow, you guys tailored this to me.
No, the other
54,
side.
2, 73, 98, 26. How did you know?
Yep.
Play the lotto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will engage in and encourage garbage reality TV Oh my gosh. Okay. So you will engage in encourage garbage. You did not write this well.
It's out. Do you want me to read it out loud?
You will engage in and encourage garbage.
You will engage
You
and
have to read.
encourage.
Give me the
No,
fortune. I'll
you
read
will
the whole
engage
thing.
in
You will
and.
engage in and encourage.
Okay. There should be a comma. Okay, sorry. Okay, you
Yeah.
will engage in, and it's not and.
There's a typo.
Okay, you will engage in and that's what made the fortune make sense now. You will engage in and encourage garbage reality TV watching with your girlfriend for the rest of the month. Yeah, I
Weird.
bought you Real Housewives wine glasses that I said for Christmas, one of my presents to you was Real Housewives wine glasses. And I said, you get to pick one city
Yeah.
and I will watch the whole thing with you.
Yeah.
A season of it.
I know, and they already started. So
So
And
I feel like
also-
this fortune's going to come true.
yeah, basically. So what you're telling us is the fortune that we gave you is a
It's
true fortune.
accurate.
So
It's
kudos.
100%.
I mean, that's basically just a universal pat on our
This is
back. So thank you.
Also, a typo that made me look like I don't know how to read.
I mean, I think there's other parts of this podcast that might have made you look like you don't know how to read.
That's true. That's
to be fair,
Who was in World War II, Grace? Name all the countries.
Harry Styles.
There you go. Exactly.
That kid from One Direction fought in World War II. That's the most unbelievable part of this movie.
Which I've met him and he's very nice. He's a sweet young man.
Don't say things that I can't handle right now.
He was so sweet.
Well, yeah, we've been trying to get him on this podcast for a few years.
Yeah, let him know. We would love to have him as a guest
When I say I
sometime.
met him, it was in the hallway and I was like, what's up? And he was like, this is exciting.
This
And that's
is-
as much as I got into
This
it.
is where I get upset that you exaggerate. I'm like,
I'm just saying he was
But you
like
did
one
meet
of the,
him.
one of the biggest like acts that
Yeah.
was on SNL while I was there, but
Yeah.
I didn't like the National was on. I was more nervous to meet the
Ooh,
National.
I've met the National. They're very nice.
They're so nice. But
Yeah.
One Direction was on, couldn't care less, figured
Right.
they'd be little brats.
and he was super nice.
And he was just like, this is really fun. This is exciting. And was hanging out in the hallway with everybody, whereas a lot of musical acts just hang out in their dressing room.
Yeah.
So he was very nice.
Thank you for encouraging a theory I already have in my brain that is too strong to begin with.
But it
So-
wasn't an exaggeration.
Okay, there's that.
Fair.
This was not a Guy Fieri story.
If you want, please go continue to write lies on.
Guy Fieri post.
But
Yep. Continue to confuse my family.
without any actual conversation of what's happening, make sure you go check out Brooks Wheelan's podcast Entry Level. It's on SoundCloud and iTunes. iTunes.
It's on iTunes. I gotta do a better job.
I can help with that.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys
We'll have
need to
a-
talk offline.
let's have a chat. I can make sure it's on
that
all
sounds
the things.
great. Yeah, I just do it. It's fun.
Entry Level is really great. Like you heard, it's a bunch
Grace
of
was on it. Jack will be on it.
and it's
Yay.
a bunch of really fun creatives that just talk about really terrible and
just a talk-
formidable jobs.
It's literally everyone talking about how much why they were fired from McDonald's.
But the best part too is that a lot of the comedians that you have on, like you've had Nicole Byer, who's fucking fantastic, and people were, and like I did too. You start to remember stories that you forgot when you start talking about
Oh,
them.
Yeah.
sure.
So
yeah.
it's this like fun discovery that you hear all these comedians start to like go, oh my God, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
And they, for the first time, are reliving a lot of things that are just like so insane.
yeah, Nicole Byer, like for the first half,
There's a Macy's jail.
told us how to teaches you how to steal, and I was
Oh,
like, I don't
wow.
know if this is great for the podcast. And then I was like, did you ever get caught? She's like, oh, I've been to jail 3 times.
But she's been to Macy's jail.
Yeah, there's a jail in the bottom of Macy's.
I've
that she
heard
went to.
about this.
Mhm, Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you go check
Did
out
that break on
podcast.
your podcast? Is that why I heard about it? Because people were talking about this on the internet.
No, I'm sure many people have been there.
Oh, wow.
It's a big place.
If it
Jeez.
exists, yeah. But go check that out. It's new episodes every Monday.
Yeah, every Monday. It's fun.
Every Monday, go check it out. And then you're just Brooks Wheelan across the board on all social media platforms.
Yeah, I'm over there mumbling, lying on Instagram.
Just lying on Instagram, screaming on Twitter. Go check it out.
Lying on Instagram, screaming on Twitter for sure.
Yeah. Other than that, I guess we'll see you guys next time on another episode of Not Too Deep.
Thank
Thanks,
you for
Brooks.
having me.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Brooks.
I'll see you guys now.
Yeah. I'll see you in 3 seconds after we stop recording.
Yeah.
See you next time on another episode of Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Too deep, too deep, too deep, not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Not Too Deep has been sponsored by ThirdLove. When it comes to bra shopping, it's all about finding the right fit for you. And there's only one lingerie brand that offers bras in sizes AA through G. That's ThirdLove. Find your perfect fitting bra today. Go to thirdlove.com/grace and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/grace. thirdlove.com/grace.
Not Too Deep is a production of Grace Helbig Incorporated.
Produced and directed by Jack Fieri.
Producer Melissa D. Mons.
With writing by Diane Kang.
Production assistance by Jenny Stringfellow.
Audio support by Chris Henry.
Editing by Melissa D. Mons.
And an extra special thank you to Flula for the theme music.